Hi guys, Jack Monroe, an anti-poverty campaigner who has struggled and resorted to food banks in the past, spoke to Ben Kentish about the dire consequences of this cost of living crisis, not just on able-bodied people, but also those with disabilities. She explains how rising prices will literally kill many people who rely on equipment that needs to be plugged in. If they do not receive further assistance, they will not survive this winter. Have a listen to what she had to say.
How concerned are you about the current situation, and do you think things are going to get worse before they get better? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I think, well, as for how concerned I am, I hear daily, almost hourly, from people who are absolutely petrified that they are not going to survive this crisis. That's how concerned I am. And although I'm the one that gets the platform and gets to go on the radio shows and gets to talk about this stuff, the reality is people out there on the ground are terrified that they're literally not going to live through the winter. Disabled people who have life-saving equipment that they need electricity to run to keep them alive. You know, things like dialysis machines. All sorts of different bits of equipment. If people cannot afford to turn their plugs on, to turn those pieces of equipment on, the reality is that they will die.
And she's completely correct. They will die if they're not able to plug in this life-saving equipment. Now, we've heard stories about people who don't need this equipment, you know, people who are cutting back on energy bills by traveling around on buses. We've heard stories about individuals resorting to candles, switching off the lights and resorting to candles. People relying on food banks, people relying on other measures to survive. But if you're disabled and you need life-saving equipment to be plugged in, you will have to plug it in. But if bills are going up and you can't afford them, this is, as she said, it's going to kill people. And the response from Boris Johnson's government is complete and utter indifference. The response from Liz Truss is complete and utter indifference. Rishi Sunak seems to be edging towards doing something, but it's likely he will not become the next Prime Minister.
And that's a lot of what I'm hearing at the moment. But that's sort of an extreme end of the scale. But most people are incredibly nervous and frightened about what's happening, what's already happened, really, but what's happening and what's yet to come.
I think it's also important to talk about the impact on mental health here. It isn't just a fact that people are struggling to pay their bills. This is going to have long-term mental health issues for society in general, because many people are deeply stressed. Individuals are stressed, but they're also, you know, people who have families are stressed as well. Can I feed my family? Can I provide my children with what they need?
And I'm seeing absolutely no solutions from either of the potential future prime ministers. And I think that Boris Johnson saying that he's not going to do anything because it's his last few days in office or whatever is disgusting, actually. I mean, if he's not going to do his job, why are we still continuing to pay his salary? Like, just pop him on gardening leave and let somebody else stand in for a bit who's actually going to make a decision.
Yes, if Boris Johnson doesn't want to work, then he should have his salary cut. If he doesn't want to do his job, somebody else should take over. Now, this story dropped yesterday from the Daily Mirror. It says here, Boris Johnson spotted in Greece enjoying second holiday in as many weeks. So Boris Johnson had just returned from a holiday in Slovenia, and now it seems he's back in holiday again, in Greece this time. There is a cost of living crisis. He has responded to this by saying, I'm not going to do anything. And to add insult to injury, it seems he's on holiday again. He's taking the piss. And you have ministers lining up on social media and in traditional media defending this. Saying, well, you know, there's a constitution and don't worry, somebody else is going to come along and fix this. There's a crisis now, and Boris Johnson is AWOL. Boris Johnson is not doing his job. What is the point in him staying there? What is the point in him claiming a salary? He's on holiday again. Absolutely ridiculous. And criminal. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.